There we go, and now we're live. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the second episode of Coding RSS with Discord. Let me cue in my guests. Darko, welcome.
Hello, hey everybody.
How's
Good
it
to be
going?
here once more. Well, pretty good actually. Good at least for, being mid-weekend, mid-work weekend, all of that. But otherwise, I was very much looking forward to this thing.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, me too. I mean, I can't wait to to start putting code for this thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can see Gordon's here. What's up, Gordon? I'm not gonna dox you with your real name, so you're Gordon. Or what was your Discord? Shendo or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yo. I think we're ready.
Yeah.
Let's dive in. All right. If you remember, everyone, we used to do this last stream. That was back on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, and I think we're pretty much done. At least we're ready to begin. We have solidified the stack, so we're gonna use Fly.io for deployment. We're gonna build the server with Fastify. I think that's cool. We need to do that. Of course, SQLite, and I did that yesterday. No, not yesterday, but the stream before yesterday. I was streaming Fly with SQLite and Docker into an Astro project. So we're just gonna reuse those things, but instead of Astro, we're gonna have Fastify this time. And how do you think we should start? Do we jump into VS Code and start with the skeleton, start setting up things?
I suppose we could. Maybe we have the way I see it, we have two choices. Either we do the drawing thing for the rest of the API routes if we want to finish that thing, or
Mm-hmm.
dive into code and switch between these two. I don't really have hard opinions either way, but the OCD completionist in me would like to see the drawings completed before we dive into code. But hey,
Yeah.
let's do whatever.
Okay, so let's continue because we don't have like much, right? We don't need to. Do we plan on drawing all of the APIs?
I'm not sure we could, I guess, because I don't think it's going to take that much time to
Yeah.
complete like these because they don't seem that complicated considering that we have the refresh feeds is just this thing that you would basically fire and it's a fire and forget thing. You don't need to think much about it. The other two are similar to list, let's say, with a single input. So
Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. So we got the subscribe and we got the lists. And I think we're solid on these things. This is a fairly simple one, as you can see. We have the query the DB for all the records. Here's the URL with the list in plain text. And yeah, Discord crawls the URL and shows the list. That would be pretty much it.
yep.
That's the list. And a reminder, a list command will list all of the feeds that we have subscribed to and show them in which channel they're posting to. So that's the list command. Then we
Yep.
have unsubscribe. So let's figure that out.
Yep.
I'm going to unlock this, make a copy, and then lock it again. Actually, no, we're gonna lock it again. Yeah. So let's do unsubscribe,
Yep.
feed, URL.
Yeah, maybe just put the feed URL thing a bit below at where
Oh
the
right,
arrow
yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah. We used to draw it like that. There we go. We pass on the feed URL. Cool.
Yep.
Unsubscribe API handler. Now we're inside of the handler. Okay, so I'm gonna remove these.
Yep.
And yeah, just make a bit more space. There we go. Okay, so we wanna unsubscribe, right? First, we wanna query the DB for the actual query. Yeah, query the DB for the actual feed. If it exists, we just delete it, right?
But
If
yeah, I
not,
imagine. Or do we want to keep a record of stuff we used to be subscribed to? Do we keep them with flags, let's say?
like a
Keep on
soft delete.
yeah, essentially, because hard deletes are sort of a dangerous thing. It's not a big deal for our use case, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's actually do that. So I'm gonna create a branch over here. Actually, wait, our branches were, yeah,
We
were
do
like
have a branch
filled.
somewhere. Yeah.
All right, here's our branch. Let's connect these two. And if it exists or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if it doesn't exist, we'll just return
Some kind of error message that we have like reply. You can just copy the text from one of the boxes in subscribe, I guess.
Yeah.
Reply back in Discord. We couldn't find the URL. That
Yeah.
seems fitting.
There we go. Like same status.
Mm-hmm.
And let's hook up the other one if it exists. If it exists, what do we do?
Well, if it exists, we just put a flag. Let's say in the metadata somewhere, we keep a status or a state or a subscription status or active or whatever we want to call it. We'll
Yeah.
see. And switch that to the other state instead. If we predefine, let's say, just subscribed and unsubscribed, we go to the other flag and that's it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do mutate db entry set active, for example, to false, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we do that. And that's pretty much it, right?
Yep, that sounds good.
Let me hook this up like this. Oh man. We need another one. Hold on, let me create a new arrow. So I'm gonna go this way, and then again this way. There we go.
Fancy arrows, cool.
Okay. Here's the this seems like a function.
Yeah, this works.
Just clean it up. There we go. Lock it in place. Actually, no, we're gonna lock this one. What else do we have? Damn it.
We have refresh feeds after unsubscribe.
Let's bring this, duplicate this again, and we can lock this one again. Refresh feeds. Okay, refresh feeds.
I think so. Yeah, that's it.
We don't do any arguments on this one.
Yeah, at least not for this version. Maybe later.
There we are. Okay. How do we plan on attacking this? So what was the outcome again? When we do refresh feeds, it's going to take the last entry from the RSS, right?
Yeah.
And just dump it all into Discord. So if we have 10 feeds, it's going to post 10. Yeah, it's going to post 10 posts basically, right?
Yeah, pretty much. The thing is that if, for example, there aren't any new entries for the given feed, it's not going to post anything. But that means that we would probably have to notify back the user that, or the users of the channel that there weren't any new things to send back, for example. Do we do that individually per feed, or do we do it for the entire operation?
Right now we only have refresh feeds. We don't have any arguments, but we could get, could introduce an argument that would just pass, like either all or the feed URL or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe we're over engineering it. If there are 0 feeds to refresh, then we just send a message which says that there aren't anything, there isn't anything new. But otherwise we can just, send the new stuff and be done with it. That probably is the simplest thing we can do right now.
Right. So no arguments. We'll just say refresh feeds. Everything's yeah. And I think this endpoint, like this functionality, we can use this to also trigger, the stuff in when the cron runs. So the cron is also going to ping this handler aside from the command, because it
Actually, yeah.
basically is gonna do the same thing, right?
Yeah, pretty much. We don't we could do it over HTTP. We don't have to, but it probably makes sense for the sake of simplicity and reusability. So, sure, why the hell not?
Yeah. So like the cron job itself, it's just gonna do a fetch and that's it. It's gonna do a fetch to the to the API, to the server that's like within the Docker network, for example, to its own backend server.
Yep.
Yeah, and the command from Discord itself, that's just a manual way to trigger the cron, basically. But it's the same
Yes.
functionality, right?
Yes. I don't see any difference between the two. So yeah, let's go with that.
Awesome. All right. So when we do that, we wanna first we wanna get we wanna get the queries and just fetch the feed for all of them, right? Or do we? What was the deal with? Let me see. Figure out the URL type, discover the actual URL, test parsing the URL, full URL and metadata, post most recent item. Okay, so when we post the most recent item, we mentioned that we also gonna keep the metadata to the database, and that was the either the entry or the time when the last post was registered, right? Do we want to, before we fetch, actually we can't filter out. It's not an API, it's an XML file. We're just gonna fetch it anyways.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna do query the DB for active feeds, right? So query the DB for all active feeds. Let me just remove this. I'm gonna keep this. Oh man. I'm gonna keep these things. Yeah, but query the DB for all the active feeds. And now for every active feed, we want to fetch the feed, I don't know, XML, right?
Yep.
And parse it, of course.
Yes.
Then we want to query the DB for the feed metadata.
Yep.
Do we do like was there a way to do a for each or like a loop in sequential diagrams?
I think there was. I don't remember how it was done. It was ages ago, but I think it's possible.
Maybe again, I don't know. Maybe something like this, probably.
Or we can just imagine something and use that because
or like this.
Yeah, that's fine.
There we go. For every active feed, we're going to do a star. There we go. For every active feed, yeah, we're gonna fetch the feed XML and we're gonna parse it, so we know what's the latest stuff. That's the only way. We're gonna query the database for the feed metadata because that's where we keep the last posted item, and then we make a decision, right? Do we post? Is there like something new? Let me see. I'm gonna copy one more time and I'm going to say, just check if new, or like if feed has newer items that aren't in DB. Okay, so it's really descriptive.
Yes.
So yeah, we're gonna check if the feed has newer items that aren't in the database.
Yeah, like process-wise, that could probably go something like compare dates, see whether there's an item with a newer date than the one we have already stored as the last sent item.
Yeah.
and basically parse post the new one as needed.
Yeah. So here's our branch. Let's branch out.
Mm-hmm.
It has, it doesn't have. No. What if it has? What if it doesn't have? If it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have, let's do a 404.
Mm-hmm. Or
And
I'm not sure whether there's. This is interesting. Is it a 404 or is it like something else? Or what was that? What was the unchanged 30 something?
oh right, yeah. I mean, we're talking about like I'm just the Gordon says I still don't understand how you use your keyboard. I don't understand how to use another keyboard now. So I'm stuck with this, like it or not. But yeah, this was just to like, has or hasn't. So I think I named these the wrong way. So if the feed has newer items, I'm just gonna do no.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And yes, but we did something like that. We did something like this here. 404 meaning it doesn't have, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Create a DB
essentially,
for the
like,
feed, yeah.
but that does make sense to return a 444. I mean, if we were going by the classical way we were supposed to use HTTP codes, this
Yeah,
does make sense to remain a 404. So it's cool.
yeah. Okay, in this case, it's just a true or false, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Condition. So let's see. If it, oh man, if it doesn't exist, then we just break out the cycle, move on with the new one, right?
Yeah, essentially, this is an end.
Yeah. So we're just gonna continue
Yes.
and don't bother doing more things. Okay. If it has new items, what do we do? First we wanna queue that,
Yep.
right? Or like I don't know.
Or do we just send them off? Like for each new item, send a response.
Yeah,
But we have to return them in a single run if there are like multiple because
yeah. I
yeah,
was I was thinking about that. Like, how do we handle that case when we, I don't know. For example, we have like 30 articles that we need to
Mhm.
post. How do we do that? Do we need a queue? Should we
Yeah,
do we
a
need a
queue
queue for
makes
that?
sense. A queue makes sense unless Discord bots support stuff like sockets or streaming, which I don't think they do, but we could check, but that would
Yeah.
very well be into over engineering territory, I imagine. So queuing is fine.
Yeah, I was thinking like get a like a queue software, and we're just gonna use some popular, queue, but that has like a delay between the runs. So like, process this and wait for a second, process this and wait for a second. So would that be annoying, getting spammed for 30 seconds straight?
Well, it's RSS. I mean, what's annoying? How do you define and measure annoying in those cases? Since
Yeah.
like you're parsing a feed, return a bunch of things. That's it. I'm not sure whether a timing function makes sense here. So perhaps like just maybe buffer all of the new items and send them away, simply because like if we're running this each 30 minutes, there aren't going to be that many new
Yeah.
things on each run. So like pushing them in a single run wouldn't be that much of a big deal, I think.
Yeah.
Unless we have like, let's say, thousands of RSS feeds, and let's face it, we probably won't. So
Yeah. Well, look, the project is open source. If you have the use case of, pushing 1,000 feeds, you're on your own,
exactly.
Fork it.
Yeah, or like pay us to solve the problem for you.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right, so let's see. Check if the feed has newer items that aren't in a database. And now for every item, right? For every item, we want to just put it in the results object.
Yep.
Or yeah, results response. Okay, put it into the response. Then we also want to update the metadata.
With the last posted item.
Yeah, with the last posted item. So there's the last one. So we, for every item, we put that into the response. We mutate the metadata, and we just, at the end, we just sent out the feeds, right?
Yeah.
Cool, there we go. So I'm just gonna create one at the center. Damn it, not. Let's make this pretty. Okay, there we go. Send results to Discord.
Yep.
Using the bot, and we're done.
Yes. That's it.
Cool. Let me just bring this up. So yeah, we got. Damn it. Do you use Arc, by the way?
No, I'm using Vivaldi myself because, like, while I appreciate what Arc does, the amount of customization I like is probably like only Vivaldi gives me that currently. So I'm sticking to that. I'm very particular about my browsers and setup.
Like, my issue is that when I want to toggle the sidebar, it's with Command and S, and that's also safe.
Oh, okay. So that's sort of like an overlap. Yeah.
Yeah, it does handle. If you can see, like at the corner, it has like Command S again to hide the sidebar, because the first shortcut it sends it to the website, but the second one is for the sidebar. But whenever I do that, then XCollegeRaw will save the file locally, as you can see.
Yeah, that's not a very happy solution. I would say they should probably do something about that shortcut.
I can change it. I just don't know. I don't know what I would change it to.
Yeah, like how do you invoke a sidebar with a shortcut that makes sense?
B, for example. For example, in VS Code, I got mine set to B. So maybe I can do that too. Okay, yeah, but that's like, that's my feedback. I have to change that. All right, we got the refresh feeds. Then we have the settings, and what I noticed, because I was playing with Midjourney yesterday. What I noticed is that Midjourney has a settings command.
All right.
And it drops you a bunch of buttons. And when you click them, it saves those settings for you. But that's just like options. In our case, we can't really use that, right? No, because we need inputs. We need to set the default channel to an existing channel. Yeah,
we can't make everything with switches. If we had like switchable options, which I don't think we currently do,
yeah,
maybe like have presets about further on about stuff like how often the feed refreshes or something to that tune. But that's probably something for later, I would imagine. Like currently, maybe we should do a settings thing, but do the Discord bot support flags and named slots? I think they do, but let's make sure that's the case.
Let's see how Mysics actually does that. There's the RSS feeds. No, come on. RSS feeds. These are the current feeds that we have for my server.
Yep.
As you can see, they have like a 8 out of 10. So, but there is no, there's no configuration in terms of how, how much you should do. And this is where the, see, for example, here's the link. It automatically parsed that Chris Coyer's link.
Yep.
and then it allowed me to pick a channel. So that was pretty cool. But there's an update, delete, and discard. But that's it. And they also keep the status active, which
Yeah,
I don't have
maybe
an
for
option.
first version, it's just fine that we do the same thing, just an RSS
Yeah.
feed channel, and that's it.
Yeah, so no
And
configuration. I mean, it's going to be I don't know, an environment variable that
yeah, for
you
sure.
push to Docker, and that's how you would configure it, I guess.
Yeah, perhaps we'll
Yeah.
see once we get to that part. But yeah, that sounds good. I mean, we're trying to keep it simple, so this is good enough. Let's stick to
Yeah.
default channel, and even if we decide to do the settings later, it's not the end of the world if we have a command that overlaps with something existing or something new we're trying to build, as long as we keep it backwards compatible, I suppose. So
Totally. Okay, that makes sense. So let's do the default channel. There's the handler. I'm gonna remove these things. I'm gonna keep one of these. There we go. All right, so default channel. We need to keep this. This is a setting that basically is accessed by the refresh feeds API handler. Because it happens where? It happens here. When for every item that we need to send, when we put it into response object, we're also going to annotate which channel this item goes to, because when we you know what, that's actually it's going to be part of the metadata, but it's going to be part of the it's going to be part of the global metadata.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah, so that means we have to keep like two sets of settings, metadata, whatever we decide to call them.
Yeah.
So a global one and a per feed one. So yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do need to keep a global one. I feel like we're going to need to keep some keys for the bots to be authenticated and function properly within that specific Discord channel. So we are going to need to keep some of the pub or like the global settings key value pairs somewhere.
Yeah.
This could be there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
just one sort of a side question, I guess. Before we dive into coding, maybe it's a good idea to predefine some tables as well for the databases once we're done with the API routes.
Totally. Okay, so we set the default channel. We send the channel. This is a simple one, right?
Yeah.
We just mutate global metadata with new default channel, and then we're done. I don't feel like there's like conditions.
Nothing further than this, I would say. This is it.
Yeah, this is a one node function.
All right.
I'm just connected so we know that we're done when we're done. There we go.
So that we're really done. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this.
Woohoo!
We got it all figured out, right?
Yep. I mean, at least the API routes we do. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see how much we have figured it out. But this looks solid, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Very nice.
I'm happy with this.
Yeah. It's our blueprint, right? How do we start immediately with the tables now?
Yeah, that's probably a good second step. We already got into metadata and settings that easily translates to tables and data. So let's just have a bunch of tables and perhaps relations, but I don't think we'll have any relations to speak of. So
yeah,
let's explore that.
Okay, so I'm gonna start drawing, I guess, somewhere here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Maybe we should put titles somewhere or something like that, so that our document is more,
it's more
readable.
structured. Yeah. I need to
So that,
unlock all of these. Actually, no, I'm not gonna unlock these. I'm just gonna move these up.
yeah, and just put a title above those.
So this is going to be. Let me zoom in actually.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the sequential diagrams.
Yeah, for API routes or whatever, or not exactly API routes, commands, mapping commands to API routes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sequential diagrams, and then we have the database schema. So I'm gonna zoom in. There we go. We have the database schema. And let's begin. So I guess we're gonna draw these like, just ordinary boxes, but we'll put lines inside.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's no notion of tables here anyway,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to do it manually. That's fine.
Yeah, we're gonna wing it. But there's like, oh, there's a frame. Wasn't there? There's a library.
Oh right, yes. There's
Yeah.
there's sure a table somewhere.
There has to be a table. Still a table. There's just
Or maybe
icons.
not.
No, wait.
There's something resembling tables over there, so perhaps it says matrices. So,
Can it be dynamic though? Probably not.
I would say no.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to draw this by hand anyways.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so we're talking about the first schema, and that would be our global run. So let's try to define the global, right?
Yeah, let's start with first the metadata for the entire bot. Let's say that each bot instance has its own settings, metadata, whatever, meaning that it would be defined by a table that's called something to that effect, global metadata.
Yeah. Okay, so here's our global. Damn it. Here's our global metadata. And let me just draw this. There's gonna be a lot of drawing now.
Yeah.
So first we need, I guess, the default channel.
Yep.
And it's gonna be a string.
Yeah.
Do we do like a string, or should we do like varchar or something like that?
No, you mean the actual database types?
The actual types.
I mean, sure, we could do like varchar or whatever. It works.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go. We don't have to define a length here, so
The actual link, yeah.
it's fine.
Okay.
Then perhaps we should do a refresh interval or something like that. That should be
interval.
integer.
Integer.
Yes.
Okay. Let me try to add like a background to this piece.
So it's a header and we differentiate it from the rest, yeah.
Yep. Let me try to put it back.
Yeah, maybe a different color for the the gray is a bit like too. Yeah, this is good.
I just wanted like all the way back, but it doesn't. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Okay. What else do we have?
I think default channel refresh interval. What else?
We have some bot. Probably the bot is gonna need to persist some values, but we could define that later.
No, or we could do like probably the most horrible thing in database design. We could just keep it as a JSON field.
Or like a text.
Yeah, basically just let's have an open metadata field. We are probably going to regret this later, but let's keep a metadata field, just call it metadata and use JSON for it, whatever. I think SQLite already has support for JSON. I don't
Mhm.
exactly remember to which extent it supports JSON querying and whatever, but if if that doesn't work, we can always just treat it as a string and parse it and stringify it as needed.
Yeah. Okay. You mean like keep everything in a metadata JSON or
No, just the bot specific
just
stuff
the
that has
bot?
to
Yeah.
do with Discord. The rest are, we already deterministically know that we're going to need them.
Yeah.
And this thing is going to be for the stuff that's still unknown to us. And as we explore this further, we can probably just convert back and forth between having an object and individual fields for certain pieces of metadata.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we can do that. So we get a default channel. We have the refresh interval. We have the bot metadata. What else are we missing? This is the global one. So we're gonna create, we're gonna keep the feeds in a separate table.
Yep.
This is just the global ones. I guess we can close it with this.
Mm-hmm. This is fine for now, I think, for the metadata at least.
Yeah. I don't like this. It's giving me tough times.
Yeah, it's a bit gnarly, that's for sure. I mean, it could look better for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so we have the global. What is that? Is this cut? Why is it cut off? Oh, maybe it's the sidebar.
Have we
Okay.
reached the end of the canvas, of the infinite canvas? I imagine not.
No, I think it's just this part right here, but we can't see it from the cameras. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure.
So we got the feeds.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We need the first, of course, the feed URL, right?
Do we keep IDs for this? Because, like, here's the thing, like, feeds URLs are going to be unique anyway.
Yeah.
And we could probably reuse those as IDs, even though if someone with more DB background is having a stroke right now with us saying that, but okay, let's put an ID there as well for cleanliness' sake. So we keep an ID which is an integer.
Int primary unique.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how we annotate that, but we
It's not,
just
but we're not database
conveying
people.
convey the message. This is what we want, basically.
Yes.
Okay, so we got the ID. Let's also define the URL, right?
Yes. Feed URL or rather page URL and feed URL, because those are separate things.
Yeah.
And we were going to use the feed URLs to basically identify the feed uniquely for subscribe and unsubscribe purposes. So yeah, those two.
Yeah, cool. Ashish, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Okay, so we got the feed URL, and then we also have the feeds. How do we name the other thing? The other, for the
maybe just page URL and feed URL, because the page URL is just the basic domain for the page, and the feed URL is the full. Yeah, that should be it.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, so the page URL is the one that we interface with as users with the bot. The feed URL is the one that we discover, and our backend will ping, because that's the XML. So it's not always an XML, but that's the XML URL.
Yes, cool. Exactly.
Okay, we got these things. Then we probably want to keep some metadata, but we can put that here because we know what it's going to be. If you noticed, let's go back to me6. If you noticed, it parses it keeps the title, it keeps probably the image as well, etc. Some of these things. I'm not sure what that would be though.
It's probably good to have them. I'm not sure, these aren't changing that often, so perhaps it's fine to keep them in a single JSON.
Yeah.
Say
do you have a feed?
Yes, I do have a feed on my page, but it's not parsing. That's interesting. Let's
Yeah.
see. No, oh, it wants the full. Yes.
No, it shouldn't get the full one. It should just pick it up.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I think I have an RSS feed. I swear I have an RSS feed. I promise. Can't seem to find it.
Maybe. Let's see. Nope. RSS. You don't have it linked to your homepage.
No, I really don't have it linked, but I thought
Yeah.
that crawlers actually do it. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm going to check
Okay.
the
Yeah.
source of
There's
this
a
thing.
there's a to do.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Yeah,
So let me.
my blog needs some attention for sure. It hasn't been updated in quite a while, so that was embarrassing. Thank you, Laze. Nah, it's cool.
All right, so I'm going to unsubscribe mine, and I'm gonna try to add it again just to see what reader shows us. Okay, so it got the feed URL, and there's I think this is a title as well. It just says RSS. Maybe that's, or I don't know. Subscribe. It adds it here, so it has the title, Lazar Nikolov's blog. Not sure you can see that. Maybe it's like way too tiny, but yeah, it has the little fav icon.
Yeah.
And then it has Lazar Nikolov's blog. So it keeps these two, but I'm not sure what else is, what else is kept.
Oh well, I just realized I do have an RSS feed update because I'm not sure why it doesn't parse it because I have it in my feed reader just for test purposes. But it is interesting. V6 doesn't find it.
Yeah, this is reader. I'm gonna try Mi6 again if you want.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. With the full URL is like rss.xml.
/rss.xml.
Yes. That should be the full one because I pretty much have it open right now.
Yeah?
Yes, there we go.
There we go. Okay. So that's the Darko's corner of the internet. You know what? Hold on a second. Darko.io/feed.xml. Here's the metadata.
No, rss.xml, not feed.xml.
RSS, yeah. There's the metadata.
Yes.
So we have title, description, and a link. Then we have a bunch of items.
Yes, each of them being a separate source entry. Yes, yeah, the favicon thing and the site title and everything, they don't really have to be related to the XML feed itself. Sometimes they use the RSS readers, they use like stuff like prefetching the metadata from the actual HTML page, not from the RSS feed to, richen the experience. So we can probably do something like that, do a single crawl for the metadata in the head of the page instead of relying on the XML because we have the full URL anyway. So yeah, we could do both. It's fine.
Yeah. So here's what I did for my feed. So I got title, description, link. I also got language set, just so here's a language.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then at the bottom, I think it was at the bottom, something. Where was it? Oh, probably not. I know. Oh wait, yeah. It's the first one. An image tag that contains the URL, the title. That's how it's pretty much the same thing. And then the link. So the RSS, I have a different RSS icon.
Okay.
And it's this one. And if I go, let me see. If I go to the home page, I have a different fav icon, which is pretty much the same. So I'm not sure which one is being used. Maybe I just have the image data. I have no idea. But we can do that. Like if it's a thing, when we're gonna read up on it, if it's a thing, we'll try to parse it. If not, if it doesn't exist, we'll probably have a link. Always have a link, and we'll try to fetch the favicon and the title from, just the favicon, I think.
Yeah, I'll have a look at the standard. It has a bunch of weird corners and whatever. Or actually, I have a better idea. I'm gonna have a look at the parser, because the parser already did that exploration for us, and we don't have to do it manually.
Cool. Well, okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, title, description, and link for the actual feed, and then we have the items. Let me go back to the drawing board. Feeds, right? We have the feed URL, page URL. Now we have the title.
Yep.
We have a description.
Yep, which is also, maybe put that as a text instead of varchar, because it's a longer thing, and with varchar,
the title should remain the varchar, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's not that long, so it's fine.
Okay, let me put this on the right side, and I can multitask. What else do we have? I mean, you guys are not gonna see it because of the cameras, but we have, what else? Description, link.
Yeah.
We have the link, but we'll keep that as a varchar. Not that it matters, or like,
It is 9 out of 10 times it's going to be a duplicate of the page URL, so.
Yeah. Okay, what else? And then we have the items, and for each of the item, should we distinguish like the items in a different table? Have the relation, or should we just keep it here? Like, given the ID, yeah, I don't think we need.
Question: do we need to keep all of the items locally, or do we just need to keep track of what was the last item that we parsed and sent?
I would say the last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if we pick up multiple items along the way, for example, if the last item has been 3 months ago, but now, I don't know, the author's pipeline on GitHub was failing, but he fixed it 3 months after, and now we have all of their blogs, that has accumulated over the span of those 3 months, and we can drop all of those in Discord, but we'll just keep the last one.
Yeah, because that makes sense for the checking purposes, basically. When we do the follow-up run of the cron thing, it would just see the latest item and just look for items after that in the feed. So that's good enough.
Yeah. So I can see that there's a GUID for every item. And I think I also had a GUID for my. What else was there?
I think it's part of the standard, that GUID thing. While it will get parsed if there isn't a GUID, it makes the parser's life a bit easier.
Yeah. So like we can only keep the pub date and the GUID, I think.
Yeah, that's good enough. We don't care about anything else.
These don't change, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could change them, but that would mean that when the parser runs, it would just see it as a new item instead, if it gets reposted or whatever. So it's fine, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, then let's actually do that. Yeah. Damn, why is this? It says UTM source LinkedIn in my my access. That's not LinkedIn.
That's a to-do for you, sir.
All right, yeah, but we got the pub date and GUID, so we just want to keep those 2 things.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's do last item GUID, varchar, and one more last item
pub date,
and that's going to be date.
Yes.
Do we need to keep anything else?
I would say no. This, for our first version, this is more than enough. This covers basically all of the purposes that all the problems we set out to solve. Yeah. So this is fine.
Cool. Let me just, there we go, round it up. I think these look good. Aesthetically, they look really good.
Pleasing to the eye.
Yeah. There's our schema. So we got everything, man. We got all the things that we need, right?
I think we do.
Yeah, we got the
Uh,
functionality on the back end. We have the database schema. We kind of know which technologies we're gonna use.
yes. So maybe we should probably go over those before we dive into
Yeah,
coding and explain our reasoning behind those, perhaps.
yeah. Okay, so Fly.io. I don't have any like arguments. Why do we have to go to Fly? I mean, at the end of the day, we're gonna be doing a Docker
Yeah.
thing, right? So Fly has an SQLite volume just out of the box, which I don't use in my which I don't use in the example that I was working on 2 days ago or 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty simple. What else like can we? Because looping Docker into the mix, that makes it universal, right? We can
Yeah,
deploy
pretty much.
anywhere that Docker can exist.
Yeah,
So that
anything
means
that
we
does
can do,
images, it's already fine. Like that does containers and images. So sure.
yeah. So when we define our database, we can probably do like a Docker compose or something like that, where the database is a service in the network. Because I don't do that in Fly.
I mean, I would say it depends on the application whether it makes sense to do or not. In this particular case, I wouldn't bother. I mean, it's fine for it to be a single image, to be honest, because like
Mhm.
SQLite pretty much amounts to a single file anyway.
Yeah,
So like it's just a single file, it's just a single extra file in the build
it's just a
artifact of the
volume. Yeah.
project. So exactly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. We're not gonna be doing any compose stuff because I don't think we have anything more, unless we have to for the cron, because that's going to be a different a different runnable. Does Fastify have crons and features like that?
I'm not sure, but as we spoke before the stream, as long as we could install like the
Yeah.
regular way of doing cron jobs in Ubuntu, for example,
Yeah.
like basically define a cron file and let the system do its magic with it, I guess we
That
should
would
be
be, yeah.
fine. Or we could even go for a Node.js wrapper over cron jobs and do something fancier
Yeah.
that way because the syntax tends to be a bit more human friendly. But besides
Yeah.
that, we're good.
Yeah. We just need to figure out like if we're doing the system thing, we need to figure out how do we pass the config to the cron. So like, we basically need to just generate, no, we need to have the input as minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the actual variable would be minutes, like 15, 30, 60, something like that.
Yep.
And we need to convert that later into a cron signature.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's, I know there are like pre-made node packages that do that. You basically have an API that understands human and then translates it to a cron file, and
Mm-hmm.
then the cron can read that thing and use it as in pretty much the regular way.
Yeah.
So sounds good.
Okay. So that would be, I guess, like an environment variable, and then the cron file can access it. Okay, you know what? We'll see. We'll see.
We'll figure
I
it
don't think
out.
we can like we can know that right now before we even start.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the stack. We mentioned that we're gonna use the Discord bot thingy. I don't remember the package.
Yeah, this just name it the Discord bot thingy, that should be fine. And
Or
then
just
we
like
have
yeah.
RSS. Let me find that RSS package. That's the interesting thing. RSS parser. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was. Yes, I think this was it.
What's the package name?
Feed extractor, I think, or feed reader. Let me check. There were two versions of that thing, and I linked it on Discord. I mean, come on, I could just reuse that instead of trying to search on npm manually. We already talked about that thing, so I'm just going to scroll a bit
It
in
was
Discord.
this, right? The extractus feed
Yes,
extractor.
yes, that's the one.
There we go. So I'm just gonna grab the name.
Mm-hmm.
we go. There's the parser. And we'll see about the Discord bot thingy. I think it was...
It was the GitHub repository from Discord themselves, I think, that they allow you to basically use that as a,
Yeah.
let's say, as a blueprint for building a bot. That's it.
We'll link it later then.
Yeah, we'll have a look. The thing with the parser is that this is probably one of the better ones that we have in Nodeland. It covers pretty much every RSS standard, substandard, non-standard we have. It's quite a mess in RSS land and feed land. So it even supports Atom and JSON feeds to my knowledge. So I think we have our bases covered for pretty much everything there is out there in terms of feeds.
Yeah, it's universal, and that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so there's our stack. We have a repo.
We do. Right? Did we share that?
Let me see. Right now it only has the... I'm gonna paste it here, but it only has the image that we did last time, and we should update this, and we will, from 5 days ago. So we have a repo. We just need to, start adding to it.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so do we begin? Do we start coding? Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's bootstrap the thing. Let's define the endpoints and leave it at that because it's getting a bit late.
Right, so I have... here's the Excalibur job. You see that? The untitled. That's where it says it. When I press Command S to toggle the sidebar. It's already in the repo. But it's the different wrong name. Okay, so I'm using PMPM, I think. No, we don't actually have any dependencies, so we can use anything.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not religious. I don't currently like Yarn, but the rest of it is perfectly fine.
Okay, so let's do PMPM. I feel like it's a bit faster, Okay, so we need to add Fastify because that would be the root, the core, technology that's gonna tie everything together.
Yep.
Now let me change the license. It's ISC.
Yeah, MIT is fine. I like any permissive license. I like GPL as well, but let's not get into politics right now.
Yeah. Right, so let's define... we don't have to define keywords. We're not gonna be publishing this as a package.
No, for sure, it's a whole application. Maybe it makes sense for it to become a package later on, but let's keep it this way for now.
Yeah. Okay. And let's just try to initialize the server, right? So we need a new file. I'm gonna call this server dot... how do we run this? Server dot let's see.
You wanna go for... you mean you're wondering whether to go for JS or TS? Or
yeah, JS or TS or something like that. How does Fastify...
I would go for TS. I think it supports TypeScript to my knowledge.
Serialize, extend test, run your server from the CLI. It says Fastify start server JS. It says, okay. What if they have some docs on TypeScript?
Let's see. There's
okay.
Yeah, it recommends like a build step basically in their docs. In their official docs, it says like the thing, and then just have a build step with tsc-p tsconfig.json. That's a little lower, and just run node, which it's fine. I mean,
cool.
Sure.
Okay, so let's initialize TypeScript. So pmpm. Actually no. Pmpm add, and we're gonna save this to dev TypeScript and types node, and we're gonna do TypeScript init here, or what was it? TSC.
TSC init perhaps.
Could not resolve the path init.
Yeah, hold up.
Dash
was it a flag? It was a flag, yes.
Yeah, there we go. So here's our TS config.
We're going to change it later, but it's fine, I guess, for now.
Module common.js, target is set to ES 2016. ES module interrupt is set to true. Force consistent casing in file names, that's all right. Strict is set to true, and skip lib check is set to true. Cool.
Sure. Looking good.
Yeah, now let's go ahead and update the script. So we have a build.
Yep.
TSCP config. Okay, cool. So TSCP tsconfig.json.
Yes.
And start is just starting index.js.
And we probably want a build mode here as well.
Yeah.
Something that would allow us to run watches and whatever, so that we don't have to restart the server every time.
Yeah. Okay, so let me do pm build and see what happens. Okay, now we have server.js.
Yep.
Cool. Server.js, and if I do start, it's just gonna execute server.js. Nice.
Yep.
We wanna do, you mentioned we wanna do like a watcher and something like that. Do you wanna do TSX for dev?
Sure.
Yeah, because like we can do npm run dev tsx server.ts, and it's just gonna run TypeScript. Although this, I figured, that this takes a lot of RAM.
No, I'm aware, but it's...
Yeah, because when I was using it for on fly.io, I was doing I extracted Astro into like instead of a standalone server to be a middleware, so I can grab the
right. You
routes,
went for the
handler.
express middleware
Yeah.
thing, right? Cool.
Exactly, because I wanted to install Sentry, and I wanted to wrap some some stuff to the server on the backend itself. So I took that route, and I was like, you know what? Instead of building and starting it like that, I wanna keep using TypeScript. So I'm just gonna do TSX, and when I did that and I pushed, the fly IO container was in a loop, like there's no more memory, shutting down. And then it restarted again, and then no more memory, shutting down. So I noticed that it does that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we should like go this. Should we do? But this is for dev, right? So locally, it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah,
we just need to install it. Yeah,
it's fine. I mean, it's not like we're limited with memory the way a production server or container would be. So we're fine.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do pm dev in that case. Well, of course, we want to add something, right?
Let's go for the hello world or whatever. We good.
We're good, man. All right. We're good.
Woohoo! Yay!
Okay, so we have a dev setup. Man, we are rolling out like from the actual scratch. There's the TSC. We just need to go, to keep reading. Okay. There's that, and we can just start, I'm gonna grab this whole thing. So I'm lazy.
That's fine. From this point onward, it's gonna very much feel like Express, so
yeah.
Whatever works in Express is going to work here.
It's gonna work here, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Listen, we have a port. Let's do process environment dot port, or
it's a good candidate.
8080, was it 8080 by default?
Sure, 8080 is fine. Or it's 3000 by default, I think, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, they're using 8080. Okay.
8080 as well, yeah. String or number is not assignable to type number or undefined, so the port needs to be a number. Okay, let's.
We have to do the type definitions for the env. We had packages for that, I believe.
What kind of packages? What do you mean?
The thing that I don't remember the name of it, but it injects some basically type definitions for environment variables as well, which you can define. So, we don't have to do that. We can just parse it as numbers. I don't imagine we'll have a lot of environment variables anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the port, and I think it's going to be okay in this position. So I'm just gonna remove all of these things. No, not that. Come on. Okay, now it's happy. So we get the port done. There we go. Server listening and... Sorry?
let's try running it. See something on screen, maybe.
Yeah. PNPM dev server listening on 8080. So let's go do the ping pong. So 8080 ping. We should see pong, and we did see pong.
Woohoo! Party.
Very nice. So we have a server. Cool. What else is there? Build is, we already did this. Start is to start the production one. Did we add a start? I think we did. Yeah, we did.
Yes,
So
we
this is
did.
the production. So we're listening, and then we can curl, and it should return pong. Okay, there we go.
Yes.
We have
We're with
everything now.
robots.
Yeah. JSON schema. What is it, Jay? You validate your request and response. You can use JSON schema files.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Is it something you would use, or should we not care about this right now?
Let's do it later. Let's first just define routes
Is
as
this like
they are.
Zod?
Yes, sort of. Let's say define shapes of the types that the shapes of the data that are supposed to come in and that can go out. So we can do it later, because right now, if we were just going to prototype the routes, this isn't that relevant. So sure, whatever.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So this does the .get etc. So if we want to, we're gonna keep the ping pong, just so we later want to see if everything's alright.
Right.
But I would, how would you how would you scale the routes? Do we just export this server and then import it in a different, into like a different file?
Oh, you mean like architecturally wise with
architecture, like I don't know. Yeah, like
sure.
create a routes, for example, folder, put all the controllers inside, create a barrel file index that's going to export everything.
Since this is small, it's not really that much of a big deal. We could have a single routes file. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's keep all of the routes in there maybe, and have route handlers per file, let's say, because that sounds, at least on the surface, cleaner. We'll see.
Yeah. So I'm gonna export the server from this file, right? Import server from server, and now we can do server. Does it know? It has to know server dot get, for example, and we can start scaffolding this. Cool.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go back to Excalidraw. And we have the subscribe, list, unsubscribe, refresh, feeds, and the default channel. Do we scaffold? Do we do the SQLite first, just so we can have persistence?
You mean right off the bat?
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. Let's go with that. Let's go with SQLite.
Okay, so let's keep this here. What do we need? We're gonna use Drizzle, right?
Yeah, let's go with Drizzle.
Cool. So I'm going to open. Sorry. I'm gonna open Kitty just so we can peek at the implementation I had here. So let's check out packages. Better SQLite 3, Drizzle ORM. Types for Better SQLite 3 and the Drizzle kit in dev dependencies. Okay, let's actually do that.
Yeah.
PNPM add. We're gonna add the dev dependencies first. So types Better SQLite 3 and Drizzle kits. And then we're gonna add, where are we? Better SQLite 3, Drizzle ORM. And those are, I think those are the two. Yeah. Cool. So we have, come on. We have, oh man, I forgot Puppeteer. I need to uninstall Puppeteer. Let me just do that real quick. PNPM remove Puppeteer, because I'm using the Satori package. Have you used the Satori package?
No, I don't think I have.
It converts JSX into SVG.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
and then
that's
I
cool.
then I convert. Then I use the Satori HTML to basically write HTML with Tailwind support. And then I convert that into SVG, and then I use the where was it? The re-SVG JS to convert the SVG into PNG, and now I have dynamic OG images.
Nice. That sounds cool. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I use
Yeah,
some other
with
stuff
like
for that, but that
multiple,
sounds cool.
really cool. Like it has support for multiple. Yeah, let's sidetrack just a little bit because I really want to show this to Darko. So
Sure.
check this
Let's
out.
go.
I got OG templates. Let me switch it. Let me just do this. I got OG templates here. Inside, you gotta do fonts. That's the thing in Satori. You have to literally like read the font, convert it into like a buffer array, and then feed it to Satori because that's how it draws fonts. There's no default.
Oh, right. It basically draws the glyphs on screen instead of doing other stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's
because it
cool.
converts SVGs. So I'm using the HTML and I'm just exporting a record of templates. Right, I have the
Mhm.
home template. As you can see, I need to do TW in this case
Oh,
because that's for
so
Tailwind.
so it has a special thing for Tailwind, or
Uh,
what is it?
that's the Satori HTML package.
Okay, right.
So yeah, I'm prefixing these. I don't know what these are called in TypeScript. No idea. But yeah, I'm prefixing it with like HTML, and then I'm putting basically the OG image template inside.
Mhm.
So here's home, blog, and default. So
Right.
if we
Yeah.
go to APIs or OG/slug with like a dynamic .png.ts, so we can have like a PNG file,
Mhm.
I'm going to get the slug of the template. That's the template slug. And then I also have query parameters for every additional data that we want to pass.
Right. Right. Right.
And then I get the data, and the actual template function that we have from the templates returns a function that returns the template, right? So that I can have the opportunity to pass the data
Yep.
that I have from the query argument. So I'm converting this into SVG, and then I'm just converting it back. I'm converting it into PNG, render it, and then return a new response of PNG. Look how cool it is.
Nice. Nice.
So
Nice. Nice. Nice.
I can do
That's
something like this: /OG/ I don't know, blog.png. That's
mhm.
the that's the actual template, and then I can add a query parameter title equals Darko likes OG images,
Mhm.
but dynamic. So here's the PNG,
Nice. Nice.
right?
Nice. Nice. That's really cool, man. Like
Yeah,
Astro has this built-in thing, or not a built-in thing, it's a plugin thing that does something similar to this, but nowhere near as flexible. So yeah, kudos for this. Yeah,
totally. Yeah,
this is probably a good thing to build a package or a plugin out of for the Astro ecosystem, or something even more general, perhaps. So idea for
yeah,
another project, maybe. That sounds
yeah. I
fun.
mean, like you just need to define your templates. But
Yeah,
yeah, this is the page. So I'm getting the template and any data, and I have to use any. I'm sorry, TypeScript fellows. I have to use any here. I was in a hurry. I didn't know what the data would look like. It's gonna be a number or a string. I don't know. It all depends on your template, right? What are you expecting,
you
right?
horrible, horrible person. You're using any.
But yeah, and this is how I construct the OG image URL, right? So I'm getting the origin first /OG, getting if there's a template, okay. If not, I'm gonna get just a default .png because I can assure that there's a default template. And then for the data, I'm just creating a new search parameters. If the OG image we have from the props exists, pass me the data. If not, just pass me the default title. And if that doesn't exist, pass me the some placeholder title. And then toString is going to create and put them into like a query parameters string. That's everything. That's
Cool.
all there is.
This is like a
So
really cool thing. So kudos for building this thing. kudos for
Yeah.
this idea.
Yeah, it's still not open sourced because this is the Egghead blog course, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna open source this anyways.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, so let's go back to our project. What do we
Yeah, it
need?
was
We
a
need
good thing.
the
It was a good detour, this one. Very informative.
totally. Okay. Kitty and VS Code. We installed Better SQLite. We installed Drizzle. Let's start to configure Drizzle now. So on the root, I had the Drizzle config, and it's opinionated, so it's gonna look like it's gonna look for it. Drizzle.config.ts, and inside we have the config from DrizzleKit. Export default satisfies config. There's a new satisfies
Yes.
keyword. Yeah. We wanna define where the schema is. We wanna define where's the migration is gonna be. What's our driver? Better SQLite. Do we want to verbose? Let's keep it verbose at the beginning, and then DB credentials.
I don't think we need any for.
It's just a URL.
Yeah.
So process environment database URL, if that exists, this is for production, or for locally, we'll just keep it local.db at the root, and this is going to create local DB. So we have the schema and the migrations here. I'm gonna put them directly. So source db index.ts, we can keep the schema there, and then in source db migrations, we can keep the migrations, right?
Yeah.
Cool. No, not paste. There we go. So let's create the source folder and also the db folder. Inside, we're gonna create the index.ts, and we'll keep the schema here and also migrations, and we're just gonna keep it as a folder.
Yeah.
Cool. This is our, let's go, db index. Here's how this thing looks like. So I'm gonna import the database from Better SQLite 3. I'm going to import the migrate method from the drizzle orm slash better SQLite 3 slash migrator. I'm going to import from the drizzle orm better SQLite 3 again. I'm gonna import drizzle. I'm gonna import the type better SQLite, come on, 3 database.
It feels like you've done this like recently. Looks like it.
Yeah, this is like from yesterday. Yeah. I'm actually just copy pasting from here. I'm not even copy pasting for that matter. Okay, db URL. I'm defining it, of course, just like we did previously. So database URL or our local.db that lives on the root. We're not gonna console log it, and let's just create the SQLite 3 database. So new database, and here's the URL, right?
Yeah.
Want to export a db variable that's of type the better SQLite 3 database that we imported, and we're just gonna use drizzle. We're gonna pass the SQLite database.
Yeah.
And let's add a logger just so we can see, you know, if we're pinging the database, if we're querying anything at all.
Yeah. Now, so that we have an idea if we're doing it right.
Yeah. Then we're gonna apply the migrations. So migrations folder, that's going to be source db migrations, right? And we can export if we want to do that. I have the export likes from schema. You don't see that here. Let me try export likes from schema. But we don't have the schema yet, so I'm not gonna do that.
We need that first.
Yeah, so schema.ts, and we can define the schema here. Let me get in, see what do we have. We're importing the SQLite table. We import text and integer. Is there varchar? Oh, of course, it doesn't know where I'm importing it from, so drizzle orm. Is it drizzle orm? SQLite core. Okay. SQLite core. Beautiful. So
yeah,
let's go back
types
here.
were a bit different in SQLite, as I remember. They weren't exactly the same in terms of like the regular types you would encounter in normal database.
Yeah. Well, I guess drizzle takes care of that because we don't see anything else.
That's cool. I don't have a problem with simple.
Yeah. Like this is all it has. Integer. What else do we have? Boolean. We have blob.
Yeah, blobs for
There's no
binary.
boolean.
Check whether
Booleans are
there's
like what?
JSON built in, perhaps.
SQLite blob
No.
JSON.
Yeah, blob JSON. There it is. There are like builders and whatever. Sure.
Yeah.
Each KT. I'm not sure what each KT is, but yeah, we'll figure that out.
But these are functions, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are functions.
Let's see what the docs say. Like SQLite.
This is a class. Yeah, we're gonna read the docs. But yeah, if we do export const, I don't know, global metadata, we can do SQLite table and create a new table definition, right? So this is going to be the global underscore metadata. And here's our config or schema, the columns, right? So let's go back to our definition. So we got the default channel, refresh interval, and the bot metadata.
Yeah.
Gordon, thanks for jumping in. Take care, man. Okay, I'm going to put this like this. So we have the default channel, then it's going to be a text. Was it like that? Oh no, this is not a key value right now. We need to do a text default channel.
Yep.
Of course, default channel is the text of default channel, and that's not going to be a primary key. Nope. It is not gonna
do we want a primary key here or not? Because like in this table, I would imagine that we won't have like multiple records. We'll just have a single record for the entire. This basically is a glorified JSON file, more or less.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so let's define the refresh interval. So the refresh interval, by default, it's going to be the process.environment.refresh interval.
Yeah, let's do that. That makes sense.
Or like 30.
And we're talking about minutes here.
Oh yeah, minutes, and we need to parse.
Yeah, it needs to be a number, of course.
A number. What is it? Damn it. Refresh interval. What is this now? Or undefined. Damn it. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so parse integer. Try to parse this. And if we tries to parse the empty string, it's gonna be undefined because there is no number. If it's undefined, then we immediately get 30. Cool. So this is just that.
Yeah.
And what else? We got the blob for
the metadata thing. Yes, the JSON blob.
Did you check the docs?
Yes, I'm actually currently doing it right now for the types of SQLite. Yeah. Let's see, what does it say about blob? Yes, it has two modes for the blob type. It has a mode JSON or a mode buffer. We want a mode JSON for this since it's a JSON field. And let's have a look. What does it say with JSON underscore field? Oh, yes, of course it's not here. We're going to have to look it in a different place. But okay, let's see. This is what we're supposed to be using. So it says, yes, okay. So blob and this is going to be bot underscore metadata, and then we have open object, and we say like JSON. Oh no, rather it says mode JSON. We have to import this one, of course, and there we go.
Blob. Cool. Mode JSON. Beautiful.
Yep, that's that.
Okay, so we're done with this database. I feel like we have to try it out, you know, like connect it.
Let's have a go, see what happens.
Yeah. So let me see what I did here. So I got this. We can export the global metadata from this file instead of this file. We can do that. But what if I go to where? Where do I go to? I had the server. Actually, wait. The API. Okay, so we import. This is how I got it. So that's why I exported the table from the DB, because I can do like import the database, the actual database, you know, driver, etc., and then give me the likes. In this case, the likes database, so I can query that here.
Yeah.
Like DB select from likes but we're going to split that into 2 imports, right?
Sure. Yeah.
The main thing is that this pretty much happens automatically. Does it happen automatically in Astro? We have the local DB.
Oh, you mean the file creation if it's not created for on the first run when it's trying to
not that
import?
one.
Or?
It was this process right here, like creating a new database, etc. Or do we just like this is it, right? We don't need to initialize it on server start.
No, I don't think we do. Last time I tried doing something like this, it didn't encounter a file and it just created it. It's the same default because it's a file-based database, so you know.
Okay, cool. So let's see. We have the database, we have the global metadata. Let's try to do what? The default channel.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, because we have the default channel, so let's do server. Are we gonna post that? We're gonna post that, right? Or put that.
Post makes sense, feels right. Maybe if we want to be very strict about it, maybe put, because like it's always an upsert, no matter what, because each following write is going to just rewrite the existing settings. So put this cleaner, let's say.
Yeah. Okay. So let's put server.put default channel is here. That's what we do, right? That's what we do. Yeah, it can be async, of course, it can be async. Cool. So, but we're not gonna be putting this as an async, right? Because Drizzle is synchronous.
Yeah.
Let me see, how do we handle, do we just do request dot, or they have like a different way to return the data?
No, it's essentially the same thing as Express. It can do fancier stuff, but
return it, yeah. Okay, so this automatically returns the body as a JSON?
Yeah, I would say it does.
Okay. So let's import DB from source DB. There's a DB, and also let's import schema, or that was the global metadata. Cool. So we can do new default channel equals to db dot insert into global metadata.
Yeah.
Values let's get the
Yeah, the
default
default channel
channel.
would be a parameter in that body. We're doing JSON, I imagine.
Yeah, but let's see. Body is of type unknown now.
Yes.
Yeah, how do we do that? How do we type it out?
Oh, well, it says it parses application dash slash JSON and text.plain request payloads natively with results accessible, but that doesn't solve our type issue.
Yeah.
Type is still unknown. So let's see. Typing out, how was this thing done? Yes, so of course we have, let's see. Yeah, interface body type. Basically, you define an interface, and then for the request, you give it a Festify request generic, and then, yeah, I'm going to send you.
Oh, you can type it in
Right?
the routes. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm just going to type the thing in, I'll comment it out, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So like this is just exporting an interface and it knows what the body is going to be, right?
So here's the thing I found on Stack Overflow. I remember doing something similar to this.
Yeah.
So essentially we need to say request, Festify request, Festify request. There we go. And then we are going to give it a body type, which is going to be, of course, it's going to be a JSON, and we're expecting a string for the default channel, right?
Yeah.
So instead of body type, what do we call this thing? Like a default channel, let's say channel body. That works.
Okay.
Sounds good enough. Default channel body, and then instead of, we call this one default, and then we should
default.
define. There we go.
Well, like let's type it out. Default channel with an underscore. Let's do the underscore thing.
Yeah.
Okay, there's our default channel from the body. Let's do some checks now. For example, if the default channel doesn't exist, is it going to, just because we gave it a type, it's not gonna be smarter and handle that automatically, right?
Yeah, for sure. We check whether it exists, and if it exists, we write it. If it doesn't, we throw an error or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so if we don't get that, in that case, we wanted to I don't know, return the response dot status. This is a 400 dot message or JSON. What is it? Call not found. Oh, there is a call just not found. Now it's not a bad requests. I want to do a bad requests. Okay, let's do it manually then. Let's put the status to 400. And
then it does something like, yeah, okay.
Or do we do this? We put the response, but then we return an object.
Sure, with a message, so that we give it additional context. Sure, yeah. Why not?
So, default channel is required.
Yep.
Cool. So there's our default channel. Hopefully this is going to, we'll test it out. It needs to, return a 400. But now we know that, we have the default channel, so we can just do default channel, right? And default channel is default channel.
Yes.
There we go.
And or insert, or should it always be insert, because it's going to probably insert a new row. We want to update it maybe.
Oh, right, yeah.
Is there an upsert operation by default in Drizzle? I'm not sure whether that's the case.
There's an update.
Drizzle upsert, because upsert sort of covers both.
Yeah.
Yes, upsert many, what? No, I want a single upsert, goddammit. Come on. Google is getting like significantly
check
more.
it out.
Okay.
We can do an insert and then there's an on conflict do update.
Oh yes, that's amazing. That's an upsert. We
Yeah.
need that.
That's exactly. So we'll keep it an insert. We'll give them the values. Then we'll do on conflict do update. And then let's see. There's a target and there's a set. So
Yes.
target, there we go. The target is going to be the global metadata dot default channel. And the set is going to be.
Oh, but we have a problem.
Yeah,
we don't have a primary key, meaning that it's not going to be able to identify whether there is a conflict or not.
Oh damn! Yeah.
Yeah. So we could go with making the default channel the primary key, but that still doesn't solve our problem because
it's not required. It's an optional field, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna have to do an ID. Sadly, we're gonna have to define an ID in the table schema, and basically hard code and update this thing always at ID1, or do something different. But either way, we're gonna have to give the database engine a way of knowing that it's just a single record and we're always targeting that particular record.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Refresh interval is always gonna have a value. The default channel might be optional. Is there a way to like define this as an optional, not null? Okay.
No, it's optional by default because SQLite allows for nullable fields by default unless we tell them they.
So this is the null.
Yeah.
Thingy, yeah. So now refresh interval must exist, and it always does because otherwise we'll just revert it back to 30. Okay, cool.
No, but we're still gonna have to have an ID.
And we're still gonna have to have an ID. Okay.
Yeah. And just, primary key, whatever, do the whole thing for it, because that's probably the simplest way we can know that.
Yeah. Primary key. What is that? Not now. That's it. I can't do like a auto increment or something, but we're not gonna increment.
We could, but we're always gonna keep it at 1, so it's okay.
Yeah. Let's put the default to 1.
Can
we do that?
Database person a stroke right now.
Yeah, because it's a primary key, but it's a default. But yeah, we're gonna need to seed this, right?
Yes, of course. We're gonna have to like predefine something in this database.
Yeah.
Well, migrations plus seeds, I would say.
Yeah, because we already do migrations, and
yeah,
they're just going to. I think they're just going to do. Yeah. Oh man, we need to define a migration.
Yeah, we do. Are we going to do it now, or are we going to leave it for next time? Because we're sort of running very, very short on time.
Yeah, we got like 18 minutes, pretty much. We're gonna do it next time, not now.
Yeah.
We just need a way to do this, or this is gonna insert this into the global metadata, but wait, we got this.
Yep.
So now we need to also pass a where, right? Where the wait, there was an EQ from Drizzle ORM. There we go. Where the global metadata dot ID equals to 1. There we go. So we have an insert. We have the values. Where do we put the where? Like inserted, but oh wait, we actually don't, right? We inserted. So the first time we don't even need the seed. The first time it's going to insert, it's going to create that for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it always going to be 1? It's an integer.
I would say yes, because
it's 0 based, right?
Yeah, it's just a single record that's always going to. I mean, we could put 10 in there for all it matters. It doesn't matter. Like, just have it. We agree on that unique key, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, so like the in case of an update, we're always going to update the where the ID is 1 or the first.
Yes.
We don't need a seed this way. We
Yeah,
can
yeah,
lazily create it when we add the data at the first time.
yeah.
Okay, that's smart, right? So aside from this, we also want to do returning. And then inside of the returning, we want to do... Oh, it was not like this? Was it like this? No, it wasn't like this. Returning is basically just a projection of the new drizzle ORM returning. Let me see how they typed it out. Oh, there we go. Insert returning. Yeah, it's just returning an object of what you wanna return. Cool. So that's default channel is going to be the global metadata dot default channel. Yeah, users in this case is the actual table.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we can define this. So if this is the returning, then we need to destructure this.
Yeah.
So default or just new default channel, and then we'll change this to be the new default. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got the new default channel now. Does not exist on type. Oh, yes, it does exist. What are you talking about? This type actually returns. You know what? Okay, let's go back. Let's see if an alias.
Yeah, it should be fine.
It's like this, but now it's gonna complain about this, right? Does not exist. You know what?
No.
Forget it. With yeah. Wait. Do we await this?
Is it async? It should be. I'm not sure.
I think so. Because it says so right here. Await DB insert. This is something that I noticed. On the doc side, sometimes we have the await, but sometimes we don't have the await on the doc side. So I was confused. Like, do we await or do we not await?
So it's let's.
So it's not.
see.
Await has no effect on
Yeah,
the
so
type of this expression. So yeah, it's not.
that's a no then. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's. Probably they need to update their docs. They're still
Yeah.
young. It's a new technology.
As most
Okay.
open source projects out there, but
Yeah.
know, docs are never
So
up to date.
so now we have it, right? If we go here and do new default channel, it's an any, right? So now we can just return it, right?
Yeah, we should be.
Yeah, return. We had the, I don't know, message success.
Oh, but it still gives us that error that the default channel does not exist
Yeah.
on type. Blah 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 blah.
Let me just use it
why does it
and
do
we'll
that?
see. It is the same error, right?
Yes, it has like new default channel. Any? Let's see. Or wait, hold up. If it doesn't return the default channel,
Because returning is exactly what it does, right?
I would think that yes, but so let's see. Let's just see what does returning do exactly. I'm hovering over this thing over here. It says refresh interval default channel. It should return the default channel, but is it packed in another object? I'm not sure I understand this fully. So there's table name there. The docs.
No, it's just yeah. So basically it receives an object with a key value pair where the key is a string just an ordinary string where the value is the actual column.
Yeah.
And we do that, right? We say default channel is global metadata.default channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then what does it return? Let's see. It makes it return the SQLite inserts, but it omits the returning on conflict from it. Okay, what if I do this? What if I say res? Here's the result.
Okay, and then like log maybe res. Let's see.
Res dot. Wait a minute. Let me check my project. Find words returning dot all. So I'm doing the dot all here in this case, and I'm getting all the updated likes. So we probably
isn't
need
going
that.
to return all of the records?
Sorry?
Oh, isn't that going to return all of the records or just all of the affected records? What does it return?
Only the affected ones. So
Okay.
now, yeah, so check this out. Now res is an array, so I can do dot zero dot default channel.
Yeah.
That's how we defined it. And I couldn't figure out from the actual doc site what's the, not the like the opposite of all, but like what is the thing that is it run? Should I like run? What's res now? It's a run result, changes and lasts. Yeah.
So if it returns the changes, we should be good.
But yeah, but it's gonna do like how many rows it affected. That's the change.
Yeah.
In our case, if we see rows 1 equals to 1, we should be good and we can return the channel immediately, you know, the default one. This is just us figuring out Drizzle. Because I want to do a returning, but there needs to be a way to, you know, to execute this query so that we can do. All does that, you know, and it's going to return all of the things. So if we're sure that there's always going to be 1, we can do the 0 thing, but that's like, it's terrible, right? I'm not sure if there's like an alternative or a different.
I mean, if it works, it works. Like, we can go with all. It's fine.
Yeah. Say execute. We're not looking for raw queries. We don't want to execute. See, a DB run statement. You can do that, and you got the run result, which is going to be which is going to be at the end just a simple how many, you know, how many rows did it actually affect?
Yeah.
Joins, relational queries, column types, conditional operators, but there's no thing like, how do I see? There's the all. That's cool. We mirror most popular SQLite like all get values and
values.
Run.
Maybe we want values.
Values. Placeholder values. A record of string and unknown. And it's going to return what? Res is now a matrix. It's a matrix. Okay, what if I do get?
Let's see. Does it take any arguments maybe or something?
No, there we go. Dude, it's actually get.
Okay, that wasn't exactly intuitive, but sure, why not?
That was my complaint as well. So I can do I can actually do new default channel.
Yeah.
But we export it. Let's export it as a new default channel. New default channel. There we go. It's a get.
Yeah.
Cool. No complaints. Okay. This should work, right? This should definitely work.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. Do I have Postman? No. I don't have anything to make this query with.
Okay.
Or
could-
Insomnia. There was like an Insomnia.
Yeah, that one's really good. I'm using that one.
It's a desktop one, or there was a web one. Wait, there was a
I mean, a browser-based one. or
yeah,
something?
there was a
Hmm.
butterscotch. What was that? No.
No, I haven't used that one before. I've just used Insomnia and Postman.
Yeah. There was a browser-based one. Let me try to find it. Browser. I'm just gonna Google browser-based HTTP client tests. I don't know. HTTP. Go to app.
HTTP. Okay.
HTTP. Okay, there we go. And there's an AI as well. Cool.
Of course, everybody has an AI these days.
There's an AI for. So we did a puts.
Yes, we need a put at localhost
Localhost
8080
80
slash
slash
update feed or default feed. Sorry,
default channel with a dash default
Mhm.
channel. We want to get a
And-
body going.
yes,
It's gonna be a text JSON
yes with
underscore
default
default.
underscore channel.
Let me zoom in because people can't
Yeah.
see anything. Default channel. Let's do, I don't know,
Say general or whatever. Or yeah, announcements is cool.
announcements. Yeah.
Let's go with announcements.
Okay. Do we have this running? No. PM. PM
Probably good to run.
dev. We don't do any logs.
No, we don't. Yeah, let's put a console log in there for
Yeah.
for the
Just so
sake
we
of
can see that,
tradition, if nothing else.
got hit. Yeah. Saving default channel as the default channel.
That should be good. At least that way we know we have some traffic coming in, and if something
Yeah.
breaks, it's the database.
Okay, so let's do new default channel is now the new default channel. There we go.
Yeah.
PM dev. It's running. I'm gonna clear out the console and just send this.
And drum roll, it died.
Yeah. Because check the URL again. HTTP localhost.
Does it allow localhost since it's browser based?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn
it's
just as I thought that, making
yeah.
it. But it's like server listening to HTTP. That's just what the hell is this? This is I guess still localhost, but it's like a
Yeah, can you explicitly state localhost in like the config for Fastify?
yeah.
Maybe that makes a difference because port host yes, and make it an explicit localhost just for now, or whatever. Yeah. Let's see whether this makes a difference. Yeah, the hell it does. Okay, we're gonna have to have some kind of an insomnia or something like that running around.
Probably, yeah. No, it doesn't, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this, but then there's like a desktop app. Let's grab Postman then.
Let's do Postman. That's probably not going to take too much time to install it.
Probably not. There's a web version, but it has to be, yeah. We have the
It's
same
probably
issue.
going to run in the same issue, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we're fucking up something more seriously than we think,
Yeah.
so we'll find out.
All right, postman. There we go. We could have curled, but I don't know the. I feel like it's much easier if we just go postman.
Yeah, by the time we figure out the actual syntax, we're going to have like Insomnia and Postman installed already.
Damn it.
Oh, come on, man.
The
Yeah.
hell am I? I'm.
Chief
Who knows?
meme officer or something like that.
All right, full stack. Yeah.
Some novelty title like that.
I'm gonna do a hangout with Postman, by the way.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
When are you doing that?
In Sentry's offices.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know about the date. I think it was about in 2nd of August or something like that. I don't know. Next month. That'll be
Nice,
cool.
nice. Sounds fun.
Okay, we're in. Let's actually go put HTTP localhost 8080/default channel
And the put and the body of JSON.
row
Yes.
JSON. Announcement sent. Could not send request.
Come
Connection
on, man. What
refused.
the hell? Why?
I think it's Fastify.
Oh, it's dying, you think?
Wait. I don't have it running. Okay, let's try that again.
Come on, man.
There we go. Not found, it says.
Oh, it's put. Okay, let's have a look why it's not found. Are we... What are we not doing correctly?
We export it here and we do the put
We're
slash
importing it there.
default channel with a dash. We do that, but
it's not working with
it's not
put.
working.
This is interesting.
So just exporting it and attaching to it, I guess it's not.
I don't think that exporting works that way with server. I'm not sure why. It's probably because it's a very complex object by itself. So let's maybe just for the time being move the routes thing, the thing that we did in routes, over in server.ts and see whether that works.
Let me just try to see if I can find like other files.
Yeah, sure.
Routes. Oh, there's a fastify.routes.
Okay.
So we can define routes like this.
Yeah, but it's largely the same because it's probably a longer version of just saying put. Yeah, it has a put method down there.
But how do we distribute this? Come on, guys.
Let's have a look at an example project, perhaps.
We can do this. We can define only the body here, export it, and then do a put and
inside the server.ts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, so we're going to export const. This is gonna be put default.
Yeah, put default channel works.
There we go. And there's probably a type for that. So we're not gonna import it the server. From Fastify. There's probably a type. Route handler, right? So we have the type. What is that?
It's possibly a generic, yeah.
Are incompatible, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, wait a minute. What if we do the route handler, route generic extends?
Yeah, it's a generic. It needs an input.
We could provide it. I guess like this. I'm not sure if this is what it wants.
It's not complaining anymore, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's remove the request.
Mm-hmm. Because that way it probably
Yeah.
implicitly realizes, yeah, that this is good.
There we go. Okay, so this is our route handler. There is an error right here. Okay, so now we go back and actually grab that. So import from routes,
Yes. The put handler thingy.
put default channel, and then we can do server.put / default channel, put default channel.
Yep.
And now it must work.
Hopefully it does.
npm dev, yeah. No, it doesn't.
It died.
Meta journal, what is that?
Oh, we have an issue with some kind of a.
Oh wait, but this is, yeah, now it's going to, it's booting up SQLite.
Ah, yeah. Okay, it's creating stuff.
So yeah, so there's the migrator. So the migrator complains it cannot find meta journal file. I don't know what that is. I don't think I had that. Wait a minute. Wait. Nah. Was there like, let me check. Was there like commands to generate? Oh yeah, DrizzleKit generate SQLite,
Yeah,
and then
of
we
course.
have, of course, we need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
DrizzleKit generate. I'm gonna grab these two.
Yeah, just copy them. Should be fine.
And we can put these here. We don't have tests anymore. We don't have tests.
We test in
So-
production, like, of
Yeah,
course.
we test in production, of course. pnpm db generate. Let's see what it does.
Okay.
No schema changes, nothing to migrate. But do you, okay, now we have the,
We have the file though.
yeah, you can't see it, but there we go. We have, of course you can see it. If I do this, you can see it. Journal.
Yep.
Cool. So we can do this, and we can even do db push. There we go. Changes applied.
Nice.
Very nice. So we should also have our local DB. There's our local DB.
Woo, we have the database.
Very nice. So if I do pnpm dev, it should work now. There's a,
Yes.
yeah, there's the migrations.
Yes. Yes. Perfect.
Cool. To create table if not exists. Nice.
Let's try running the route, maybe.
Yeah. So we can do postman. Go for it. SQLite error. No such table. Global metadata.
We don't have a.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think we're missing something. Let's go to the index. Here we have the. We don't use this anywhere, right? db/index. We have the likes somewhere. Actually, no. We don't have db/index. What do we do? Here's the SQLite const db, migrate db, migrations folder, and then export likes. How do we include the likes within the, maybe it's migrate?
It should be migrate, but
Like when we do migrate, I want this to be included, right?
yeah.
There's a config, migration config, folder, migrations table. Okay, let's see. Because migrations should do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point.
Yeah. Like spin up a new server and all of the... Okay, we got two tables, users and auth OTPs, right?
Yep.
And here's generate, and here's the schema, but we already know that. And it will generate a migration SQL file. Will it? Oh, wait a minute, dude.
Yeah.
Drizzle config. So the schema is not in the index.
Oh,
We actually did a schema.ts.
yeah. We did something different. Yeah.
There we go. So if I do a pnpm db generate, it should also generate default. Okay. Config global metadata. There we go. You see that?
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
We also have an SQL file now. Create
Ah,
table.
yes.
Yeah.
Now we have the table.
But what I want to do is write if exists
All
or
right.
if not exists. Yeah. It doesn't do that by default. I don't know why.
No, so there it runs the risk of rewriting it if you run the entire thing over.
Yeah. So like
So-
if it doesn't exist, do that. But what if I add a new field now? Would this work for the table? How do we do that?
Maybe we need a new migration and an update
Oh right,
table
yeah.
to do it cleaner. So
Actually, yeah, when you add, yeah, totally. I just like this, like if not exist, because if I run this every time, or if like the server fails and then it restarts again, it's gonna fail because it says, oh, I can't apply the migrations because this table already exists, right?
yeah, it's a good sanity and safety check. So sure, it makes sense to keep it in there.
Yeah, but I need to manually add if not exists. That's the case. I'm not sure if there's like an option.
Or maybe a PR for the people at Drizzle.
Yeah. Introspect, breakpoints, strict, all these things. Yeah. But we can talk with the people. But for now, I'm just gonna add this. So now, ladies and gentlemen, if I do pnpm
Drum roll.
dev, okay, insert into migrations, create table if not
Alright.
exist, global metadata,
We have that, yes.
commit, running, and now let's see. Of course, on conflict clause do not match any primary key or unique constraint. Saving announcements as the default channel, but then it died. Okay, so we have an issue here in the put default channel. Here on conflict do update.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, like the where, like.
Yeah, it should be, yeah, that's the thing. Like insert, and if we put the ID in here, it's going to cause a conflict because the ID already exists, right?
Yeah. Does not match any on conflict clause, does not match any primary key or unique constraint.
So it doesn't exist, but why does it?
Target, where, and set. So you could insert this. Oh, wait a minute. We have the default channel, but we have an ID. I don't think we need to insert that. We have an ID. We have the refresh interval, which is by default 30.
Yeah.
And we have the bot metadata, but only this is not null. Should we define it?
Perhaps.
For the first time, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Let me try to add it. Refresh. Come on. Let's put that to 30. And let's try running this again. Sorry, we're a bit over time.
Yeah, we're gonna have to finish pretty soon. Gotta go pick my kid.
No, it's not that. Okay, so it's something else then. It's not the refresh interval. It's not on conflict clause. Does not match any primary. You know what? Probably someone else got hit with this. Yeah, I did it. So how to fix on conflict clause does not match any primary key in SQLite. Create table users. Constraint. The email is unique.
No. So it says at the statement down there, insert into users, and it explicitly states an ID in the insert statement. So Hold up. We don't have increment. We on the insert
No.
statement add an ID of 1.
Yeah. So with the set,
Yes, put explicitly an ID of 1 there as
ID
well.
of
Yes.
yeah, ID of 1 and default channel.
Yes, that should be fine.
Do we need the where? We don't need the where because it can't.
Yeah, it won't, because it is going to cause a conflict anyway.
On the
with
ID, yeah.
Yeah.
And when the conflict, yeah, but this is the conflict. Wait.
Yeah, I meant put the ID in the values.
In the
up there.
values, yeah.
Yes,
ID is 1.
that should be fine.
Yeah. But if a conflict exists, then yeah, just update it where the ID is 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Clear pm def. Take 3. Again. Same thing.
All right, this is a puzzle then.
Yeah. Default channel, and the default channel is announcements. Inserts. These are the values. This is the where.
So does that mean it's causing a conflict already, or I'm not sure whether the insert fails. Can we open the database file and see whether there's anything in there? Do you have like some sort of a database tool handy?
Let me see. I can install one, but there was like the Drizzle Studio. What was that? Is that like Prisma Studio?
I'm not sure. I haven't used it. I'm using dbeaver personally, so no idea.
There we go. Drizzle Studio. Drizzle ORM, Drizzle Kit, we already do that. Prepare the config file, we already do that. Launch, yeah, npx Drizzle Kit Studio.
Okay, so we can have a look, yeah.
Yeah, I can run Drizzle Kit Studio. It's currently in beta. It's alright. 4983. Open a table. Okay, just move it here.
We don't have any records in it. It has 0 records. So no, there's nothing in it, sadly. Yeah.
Insert ID is 1. Default channel is this thing. These are all optional, right?
Yeah.
Default channel is also optional. The ID is also optional, believe it or not.
But we have it set as a primary key over there, but we don't have it as a not null. But I'm not sure. I don't think that's causing any issues.
Yeah. Do we do not null? Okay, let's do not null.
Yeah, it's not gonna change anything.
Hold on. God damn it. Guess what?
Ah, you have it right. Oh my god. Come
Did we
on,
generate?
man.
Yeah. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, now we should be good. There we go. We just changed the schema. We didn't actually generate the SQL. Damn it. Okay. What are we doing now? Postman.
Postman, try to send it.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
It's still the same thing. God damn it. This thing doesn't want to work. Okay.
Yeah.
We got the ID here for the values. If it does a conflict, then update it. Update just the default channel, but make sure you do the 1. That's wrong. But we did the verbose thing. We did the verbose thing, and it's still not printing anything other than that. There's the ID, default channel, refresh, and bot metadata. But yeah, we don't have any entries.
Pick this up next time, maybe, because I'm kind of getting tired and short on time.
Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble. Well, then let's continue in the next stream.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out when the next stream is gonna be. But we got this all set, man. We just hit our first foundation.
Yeah, for sure. We'll try. We can try do something later this week.
Yeah, will be cool to I mean, now that we have to stream everything, right? If, for example, if I have some free time or you have some free time and you wanna, you figure it out, feel free to push it. I gave you permissions to the repo, so feel free to push it. Yeah, and then in the next one, if either one of us has any updates, We'll just
we can
run
do an
through the
explainer.
updates first, yeah, and then we take it from there.
Yeah, cool.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yo, thanks for hanging out. I think we're set on a good track.
Yeah, we will see where we get next time. It was fun though.
Totally, totally. All right, yeah, everyone, all 5 of you, thanks for jumping in. Thanks for watching until the very end. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye bye.
Bye.